everybody's white. And then they try to play that game. Well, I look white, but I'm not. I'm Puerto Rican. Stop it. Stop. The white guy. That's why I don't like to use the term the white man. You understand? Excuse me. I don't like using that term, and we should stop using that term. Y'all notice I never use that term, the white man. You know why? Let me get into that now. You know why I don't like using that? Because, see, that kind of grants an omnipresence to white males. Referring to systematic injustice as something like the white man, you know, that unintentionally elevates white males into an omnipresent, omnipotent figure, damn near deity. Turns them into like a mythic force that exists everywhere at all times. And that reinforces psychological submission rather than resistance. You understand? See, when you say the white man, that individualizes what's actually a system. See, the white man, that reduces an interlocking system of laws, institutions, and power structures to one single person and a gender. So that really misdirects a lot of attention from the broader network of the collective action of these white supremacists and their policies and their infrastructure that maintains white supremacy. Yeah, the man. Yeah, Dr. Welsing told us about saying the man. Yeah, it was the white man, and then in the 70s, it was like the man. And Dr. Welsing warned us about that. Don't say the man, because when you say the man, you make the white supremacist the end-all, be-all, and the epitome of what a man is. Because Dr. Welsing broke this down. She said, really starting in the 60s, 70s, we started using these terms that infantilized us. We are in a childlike state. The white supremacist puts black men and women in the position of children because you become dependent on these people and you can't really move and operate without them having a hand in what you're doing. So you start calling white males the man. You start calling black women mama. You start calling yourself boy. My boys, my home boy. You refer to yourself as boy, homeboy, boy. And then you refer to where you live as the crib. So she broke that down very, very heavily. And that psychological mindset is still there, where we have a lot of black males with a infantilized mindset, where you look at yourself as a minor. That's why so many artists, what's the most common names that rappers have to this day? They got Young and Lil. Young Jock, Young Jeezy, Young Dro, Lil Baby, Lil Wayne, Lil this, Lil that. And I'm not saying that to denigrate these brothers. I'm just giving some psychological context from like the work of our scholar warriors, Dr. Welsing and Neely Fuller. You see? So we have to be very careful with the words we use and how we internalize these words. We got to be very careful about that. Right. Every rapper damn near every other rapper calls himself Young and Lil. Yeah? You turn yourself into an infant. All of these infant names, like baby, Lil Baby, Da Baby, Big Baby this, baby that. Yeah? So we got to really watch that. Because what happens is, using the man and the white man, you basically reinforce the great white father myth. See, that language mirrors old colonizing propaganda. See, the idea of the wise, all-powerful white patriarch who controls everything. See, that myth was used to basically justify genocide, slavery, colonization. And people start internalizing that and reinforcing it within yourself. So we have to reject that. See, that neglects, using the term the white man, it neglects a lot of the non-males and non-white allies of white supremacy. See, white supremacy is not only sustained by white males. There's white women, and you have some other non-white gatekeepers. You got the Myron Gaines, people who ain't black, but who want to be Caucasian, and they look at themselves as dark Caucasians. So the fact that they're desperately trying to get some butter biscuits from the white supremacists, they stomp even harder. So they help maintain that system of white supremacy. And that ignores their collaborators and let them hide behind the myth of a single villain. You see? So we got to watch that. Because some of these non-white others, some of these tethers, they help maintain white supremacy. Yeah? And what happens is when we use the white man, that kind of traps black consciousness into the language of folklore. You know, the white man sounds like an old folktale antagonist, like the boogeyman. You understand? Rather than this identifiable power structure. See, that keeps the white man, that keeps the discussion in mythic terms. Yeah, instead of framing it as a real political, legal, and economic system, then you can analyze, you can dismantle it. You understand? When you start saying the white man, okay, who? The white man is gonna get you. Okay, who? So yeah, don't talk like that. No. He's not no omnipresent person. We were talking about some hillbilly in a trailer somewhere, some big back Karen who's practicing white supremacy. Let's stop talking like they're some kind of mythical creatures. They're not. They're not. Because what happens is, using those terms, that suggests that injustice is inevitable and natural. It's not. Describing oppression as the work of the white man, you know what that does? That implies basically that injustice is just the natural outcome of his existence, rather than the result of intentional systems and policies and decisions. So that discourages a lot of organizing and accountability. Yeah. So we got to really watch the language and that blocks strategic targetings of systems. See, you can't fight the white man because he's not a law. He's not a department. He's not a ruling. That's a vague ghost. You can fight white supremacy. That's why y'all think they get so mad at me all the time by using the term white supremacy? Why y'all think they get mad at me? Boy, the white supremacists, they get so mad at me for using that term. They don't mind you using the white man. They love that. When you say, man, the white man ain't shit. Man, this white man, the white man is crazy. They love that. Okay, yeah, because you're talking about the boogeyman. And they're like, okay, he's talking in vague terms. Okay. Oh, whoa, that Negro is mad. He don't know who to be mad at. So he's going to turn that anger on himself. They like that. They love that. When you talk about the white man, you don't know who to go after. You know? You don't know what to target. So what happens, you get that frustration builds up. You start attacking other people who look like your ass out of frustration. Yeah? But see, when you get focused and you ain't, no, I ain't talking about the white man. No, I'm talking about the system of white supremacy. Because see, you can fight white supremacy. You can break that shit down. When we talk about white supremacy, we're talking about police unions. We're talking about biased school systems. You can fight that. We're talking about redlining in real estate. We can fight that. You're talking about anti-black immigration policies. We can fight that. Yeah. So white supremacy makes the enemy visible and actionable, and then you can counter from that enemy. Yeah. Using the term the white man, that psychologically, it really conditions us to look upward and not inward. We say the white man, that creates a vertical power structure, basically, with him on top, just eternally ruling everything. And then that makes black people look upward in fear rather than looking inward and say, hey, let's organize right where we are so we can disrupt and dismantle this system. And using the term the white man, that reduces a lot of accountability for specific acts of harm. See, white supremacy thrives when it's not named directly. blaming the white man instead of white supremacists, racist institutions, racist policies. See, that allows the perpetrators to evade accountability. And that helps them avoid being directly confronted or exposed. So remember, white supremacy is not a person. It's a coordinated, evolving group strategy rooted in power, law, psychology, and violence. That's why we use white supremacy. That names the ideology, implicates the collaborators, and keeps the focus on the system, not no shadow shit. All right? So the guy who carried out that attack today, there's another white guy. They're trying to deny his whiteness. No. Another white guy. That's what it is. But here's the thing. One thing I want y'all to notice. And let me show y'all this. Because we got to understand how people who, when they're organized, certain things get worded the right way for their community. So now, this guy attacks some Jewish people. Boy, immediately it's hate crime, all targeted hate. Oh, it's targeted hate. Hate crime, hate crime, hate crime. Politicians are coming out. Oh man, they're copping pleas. They're making statements. Like Hakeem Jeffries, boy, they jump to the rescue. Okay, which is cool. Hakeem Jeffries, boy, they start making the Jewish community in America is once again the target of a horrific anti-Semitic attack. Oh man. Anti-Semitism has no place in our nation or anywhere throughout the world. It must be crushed. We stand with the Jewish community. Boy, they never do that for us, boy. That's my problem. See, I want to get into that. That's what I want to get into. And you deserve politicians standing up for you. I'm not saying you shouldn't have that. You deserve that. And we do too. Why the hell don't we get that? We get attacked all the damn time. Nobody, the politicians don't come out and say, hey, we condemn anti-black racism. Never. They come out and start talking vague. Oh, this was horrible. 20 black people got shot at a Family Dollar store. Yeah, hate is bad. Hate against minorities is horrible. That's why we're going to have a DACA program for these immigrants. What? You think? That's the problem I have. You see, they don't do the same for us. And this is where we're going to have to step it up, family. This is where we're going to have to step it up. See, these other groups, they understand how to maintain institutional power and political influence. A lot of the Jewish communities, they got well-established political advocacy groups at AIPAC, the ADL, and others that directly influence lawmakers and control narratives and rapidly mobilize media responses. Black folks, we don't really have a national lobbying force. The minute we try, we got to be real, it gets infiltrated. See, we're the only ones who get infiltrated. When we try to organize like that politically, they start sending ops around us. Just like with the reparations thing, there's so many damn federal ops and agents around the reparations movement. We start getting organized and do some of these task force meetings. It's a clown show. You have people who are clearly sent in there by the dominant society to go in and infiltrate. So other groups, and we got to be, we're not going to beat up on ourselves. We have to understand that a lot of groups don't have the same level of infiltrators that we have, who come in and specifically try to disrupt the movement. We try to get things organized, and they'll plant somebody who's acting like they're an ally and acting like they're down, and they're undermining us all along. They're undermining the movement all along. And I'm telling you from experience, we've had that when we're doing reparations rallies, and the people right next to me were sent in by them alphabet people to disrupt and undermine everything. And I mean, I'm talking about people who are right there close to us. And it's always been like that over here. Now, the reason why a lot of these other groups, they get the political operatives and the political class to stump for them when there's an attack on anybody in their community, They know how to control media narratives. Now, we know there's a lot of people in the media, a lot of Jewish people who are behind the scenes in the media. And the minute you hurt somebody in their community, you got a green light to call it what it is. In contrast, stories about black suffering are basically filtered, delayed, distorted, or just downplayed. Yeah? Unless there's some kind of viral video. And also, with these other groups, family, we got to look at it like this. Other white groups and other non-black groups, there's a perception of innocence with them. Like Jewish people and others, they typically are portrayed as innocent victims when they're attacked. You know what I'm saying? That's why immediately you condemn the attack. You immediately condemn the attack. The minute an Asian person is harmed, condemn. Everything is right out the gate. You condemn. Oh, this is horrible. Stop Asian hate. Oh my God, they ran over some Jewish people. Oh, anti-Semitism is horrible. Stop. Now, when black people get harmed, the victims are scrutinized. The victims are criminalized, and the victims are even blamed. We get harmed. It's like, okay, what was the black person doing before the police got there? What'd you say to the terrorists before they blew up everything? What'd you say to them? It's always, we get questioned and second guessed. Yeah. So the media, they subconsciously reinforce racial bias by framing attacks on black people with suspicion. There was always something else to it. Yeah. And there's a fear of people in the dominant society and in general being labeled as anti-Semitic. See, there's consequences if you do something to them. You're speaking against Jews or appearing insensitive to their suffering. That leads to immediate consequences and accusations of anti-Semitism, career loss, public shaming. In contrast, anti-black behavior, slurs, policies, there's really no consequences from the dominant society. Not only are there no consequences, shout out to Alonzo Dunn for the super chat. Not only are there no consequences, damn it, you get rewarded. You get rewarded now for being anti-black. Like that white woman, Shiloh, cursed out and called a black special needs child the N-word who's like 5 years old. They gave that woman $1 million in social media money and crowdfunding money. Yeah. So this is where we are. And the thing is, when these other groups are harmed, when Jewish people are harmed, these Jewish organizations, they respond quickly and they speak in a unified voice. So when something happens, they issue press statements, organize vigils, demand legislation, they flood social media. A lot of times with us, we have too many damn operatives around. The responses become disjointed. Hold on, sorry, guys. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, everything gets disjointed. We start having the Sambo class try to chime in. We have some of the activists trying to put in work. We have people who's trying to make some money from white people. Black people need to talk